Muted. And hello, it's I, the Roguescaper here. Taking a bit of a time out tonight to do some painting. I know it's been too long, honestly. It's it's been kind of crazy. In case you haven't noticed, I've been redoing my backdrop, kind of redoing my whole office area. So I'm hoping it's going to look really nice, really eye-catching in the future. But it's a bit of work just doing all the stuff. It's a bit bare now, but that's been occupying my time, and I've just been doing lots of commissions, kind of off camera, trying to get things done. But I'm back. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Big news for me and the channel is I got affiliate with Renegade. Part of the reason I felt drawn to come back is so if you haven't purchased your Heroscape stuff and want to help support what I do in the channel, definitely check my link in the description. If I can learn to speak, that would be excellent. And yeah, I've been it's been pretty crazy. I've just been kind of slowly waiting for Scape to come. I'm going to ScapeCon. So if you're going to ScapeCon and you realize you haven't had any you need some miniatures dropped off, definitely let me know in Discord or on Facebook. And I can deliver them to you in person. But really, that's just kind of enough of what's going on with me. I hope everyone's doing well. The giveaways on Facebook will be continuing pretty soon. I'm kind of getting back in the swing of everything. Almost at 250 subscribers, and we just hit my my year birthday on this channel. So lots of fun things to celebrate. If I'm clipping, let me know with my mic. So I'm getting this tuned. But yeah, so lots of fun things to celebrate. I plan on giving away some of Army Painter's new Fanatic starter sets. So if you're interested in getting, your own box of paint and some good colors to kind of start your painting journey, definitely keep an eye on that, as well as some rare and fun things. Yeah, I'm just kind of yammering on. So let's get into the let's get into the heart of really what we're here for tonight, the painting. And let me just, it's probably going to be upside down for a second. My camera connections are a bit weird at this point, so I apologize about this. Yep, see, I told you. Unprofessional. How unprofessional. Well, tonight we are going to be painting this AShi-Dhulu, this great worm from Reaper. It's a fun, really a fun model to paint, and is just a great way if you're kind of looking to dive into it. And we got Ulfrid Horn Wrangler right here. Just a fun little guy. He's kind of, I don't see him used a lot, but he's just a neat concept. Someone will be left standing. It may or may not be Ulfrid. Do I want to pull up the cards? I might do in a bit. I want to just get painting. But I hope everyone's been doing well. My voice is kind of, I don't know, I have I'm just thirsty. I drank all my water. I might need to get some more, but I think we'll be doing good. I'm also just kind of getting back in the swing of things. I've kind of, for some reason, got all my stage fright back, so I have to get over that. But let's see if this is all going to work out here. There we go. Alright, so for AShi-Dhulu, we want to first not put purple on. Let's do a dry brush. We're going to do a bit of a slap chop method here, just to kind of get a nice... I probably will paint over it, but it really provide some nice contrast when I'm painting it. When you have a creature with lots of texture like this, you definitely want to... I like to take a bit of white and just go over it to really kind of see where the ridges are, where the light naturally would go. I am going to be using heavy titanium white. Now, if you've never used Monument paints, I can't highly recommend them enough. They are excellent. Especially their whites and lighter colors. They just have such a strong pigmentation that, man, I just kind of fell in love with them. I'm slowly transitioning all my paints to this brand. Here I have what's called a texture palette. I use this a lot for dry brushing. It really helps remove this excess. Okay, so we got this here, and then we're just going to take this and run along the texture, kind of opposite of where it's going. So it looks like the texture is going side to side, so we're just going to do this, and we don't want that to happen, but we'll paint over it. All right. This is called slap chop method. I don't want to do a pure zenithal highlight on this because I just wanted to really kind of just bring. I didn't want any parts too dark, and also I'm out of white primer. That may or may not have been the other reason as well. But there's so much ridges and textures. I really kind of want those individually raised primarily. This is a really satisfying thing to do. When you do this, it kind of it just really, it looks like, it doesn't look cool just like that. This is great if you have game night, you know, you want something on the table and you don't have time to get your paints out. This at least kind of catches the eye. I do D&D and you know, sometimes I've done this method where I was doing a kind of a Nora one-shot and had a lot of things like this, kind of like simulating black and white, which is pretty cool. Like the whole world lost color and they had to kind of figure out why. If we get these rocks right here. But I've been busy on my end. I've been hard at work. I got some fun videos coming out for sure. And let me know if my audio is messed up or isn't coming through right. I'm still rearranging my setup, so I haven't had a chance to squash any bugs. All right. So next, after we've properly dry brushed this, let's go and get some royal purple. I'm going to show a picture real fast of what this guy will look like. If I can find it. So the picture on the Heroscape website on the card, honestly, is really tough to find the appropriate detail. So let's see here. So this is what we're painting right now. So if we notice there's two shades, a kind of a lighter purple, a darker purple, and they're kind of divided by a black line in the middle. I'm going to try to make these dots kind of glow and be fluorescent. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one to paint. Might even look better than the pre-painted model, which is almost impossible to find. Honestly, if you're looking to kind of get into painting, Reaper is just a really great spot to kind of dip your toes in. They have so many models, and they're all dirt cheap. And they all look really, really good. Like, this is a great model, as is. I would even recommend doing Reaper models before 3D prints. 3D prints, I love I do it so much, but they have a lot of traditional methods sometimes don't work for 3D prints, just because you have layer lines that will show up with washes and other things that you just kind of have to work around. Especially for Heroscape prints, you're kind of like almost painting details in where some are non-existent. Now, if you notice, I'm kind of using a thin coat. I've tried to thin my paint down so it's somewhat opaque, so you can kind of see that white shine through. This just saves a lot of time and really lets this high pigmentation of the monument paint shine through. I really want this to catch the eye on the table. Of course, probably by the time we're layering it, all that will be kind of long gone, but I treat it more as guidelines when I'm painting. This is also just a great model to speed paint. If you don't want to, take all the steps, just put a quick coat of speed paint on. It's just so much texture. It really kind of works really, really nice and easy. It does feel good to be back streaming. It's been far too long. I've been trying to just make things a bit of a better viewing experience. I was kind of in the corner of my garage when I was making my videos before, so it was a bit of a kind of clustered and honestly just a little bit just of a mess half the time, which I didn't like. I like it to be clean and easy to see. So I've been kind of really working hard to make this just a better thing to look at, a lot more informative and helpful for people. I mean, if anyone's seen Dune 2 or Dune 1, you feel why I felt kind of called to paint this figure. It's yeah, you gotta love your giant sandworms. I like Dune 2 a lot more than Dune 1 for sure. I think the story just kind of was a lot more compelling. It is definitely just Lawrence of Arabia in space, but Lawrence of Arabia is one of my favorite movies, so I had no problem with that. Um, it's not without flaws, but it was enjoyable. I honestly found the first one to be a little bit boring. My notes were a little bit too much sand towards the end. Let's see here. So this is kind of a weird purple. It's kind of like a grayish, lightish purple. I'm going to kind of mess around with this. I'm going to try the alien purple from Army Painter. We're going to see how that works. Let's see here. We have alien purple. We have Reaper's Eldritch purple and Vallejo's purple. I might use the Vallejo purple as highlights on the backside just because I think that'll flow better. Let's try this alien purple and maybe we'll eventually mix some gray into it to kind of give it a weird desaturated color. But let's see here. Where is my little... Oh, where? Safety pins. I'm just going to put a bit of gray into this. Just to make it look a little weird. Just a little bit. That might have been a little bit too much. I think Vallejo's purple is one of my favorite tones out there. That's not good. It's just got such a kind of like a pinkish, lightish hue. I use it so much. All right, let's see how this is looking here. It's a little wonky. Let's try it out. Yeah, thin this out a bit. Current videos I'm working on. Ugh. Need some tongue twisters. Current videos I'm working on. I'm working on some fun character alts you can paint your Heroscape figures in. Videos. So I have 10 different paint jobs you can give to your figures. I was kind of tired of painting the same thing over and over again. So this can help add some variety to your life. I am working on the best figures to get if you are getting Age of Annihilation, which is good. I just honestly have been building up courage to get back on the camera again to get that one. That one's all scripted out. And what else am I working on? Oh, and a Templar Knight tutorial. So if you're wanting to get some Templars up and running, that is definitely going to be a good watch for you. I even show you how to do the shields and the decals. It's turning out pretty good. It just takes time to compress like 8 hours of footage into 7 minutes or so. All right, we're looking pretty good. Look at this. Make sure you get all these corners here. This is such a fun unit to paint. I bought a couple of these. I might give them as giveaways, or I mean, for like $3, you can't really go wrong. It's not. It looks even better than when it's like 3D printed. Let's see here. This guy, I think, has the purple ring around its mouth. It's tough to tell. That's the fun thing, is this is your painting. It doesn't have to be exact. There's a bit of freedom in doing what you think looks best. So I always encourage people just to do that. If you use a different hue or something that's slightly off, that's okay. No one will care. Although, admittedly, I do spend a lot of time trying to color match classic Heroscape figures for commissions and stuff like that. It's tough where you have to find that right shade of brown and the right skin tone, because they don't just use simple flesh tones, unfortunately. And in classic Heroscape, they kind of had more of like an olivey tone for a lot of the figures. There's at least 3 different skin tones I've counted, which I think is cool, but it is a bit harder to match olive compared to just a standard flesh tone. I just did a big batch of gladiators, Capuan gladiators, and those are a pain to find a good match for. At least they were for me, because I kept on going too peach colored or too dark. They're kind of like right in the middle. So currently I'm just doing this base layer. Kind of not even paying attention while I'm talking. Caught me monologuing. Let's see if my auxiliary light is up and running now. Just to get a bit more light on this guy. It ran out of batteries, and I'm thinking it might be done charging now. I think that would be a fun video for me to make, is just some tools if you're wanting to make some miniature-based content creation. Because there are some things that really just help me out. The Loom Cube, this little tiny little camera right here, man, that I love this thing. I've been planning on getting a couple more, but unfortunately spent all my money on paints. So okay, so we got a nice 2-tone system going here. You know what? I might add a bit of like blue just to really kind of like light blue to this. I'm trying to kind of figure out what makes that blue tick, and I think just having a bit of that might really sell it. Give it a nice. Now we don't want it too blue. Maybe if we make this really thin. All right. It's looking pretty good. Have more of like a, what color is that? Lavender maybe? Now I'm kind of doing what I call just wet dry brushing. Where my brush is wet, the paint is wet, but I'm kind of acting like I'm just still dry brushing it. Kind of gets like a smoother dry brush for things like this if you want to do a bit of blending. This would be a fun one to paint with an airbrush too. My airbrush is out of commission because I, for some reason, thought it would be a great idea to leave varnish in it over a month. So I try to repair it and fix it, but it is nigh unusable. So this is definitely something like when you're painting, you might realize, oh wait, I missed a bunch of spots. Definitely keep an eye on that. Let's see if I have a paint holder too. This royal purple is so strong. I love it so much. And look at that. That's just a powerful color right here. I'm just adding a little bit of purple on the inside. I'm probably going to layer over that with black, but just trying to kind of get a feel of what I want in there. So just trying to make sure I get the ridges. I wish to ride the sandworms. You must be Fremen to ride the sandworms. You know. Old Denny. He does know how to compose a shot for sure. You know what? I am going to just paint these ridges the purple. I'll just kind of shade them down. I kind of didn't know what to do with them, but I think the wash will settle in there and we'll be good. I'm trying to kind of make it a thin coat so it kind of blends in between the layers. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna spice it up definitely, but got a place to start here. Let me add just. I don't really know why I'm not using my white palette. It's right here. I'm just being kind of lazy. I'm kind of a lazy painter sometimes. I'm just currently looking for a paint stick. So I knew I had one here, but I may have lost it. But let's see. If I use a paint stick, and that was me at the same time, and I was looking for said paint stick. Yeah, I don't know where it's. Oh wait, it's right here. See? It's just a PVC pipe with a sticky tack on the end, but you know what? It works for me. Okay, let's really make sure we thin this down. Okay. Sometimes when you're painting, you want to just check the flow of the paint. Your hand is the perfect place to do that. Now I think this purple might be a bit too rich. We're certainly going to raise that up, but I wanted a nice, strong, dark coat for it. I like this little bit of blending we got going on here. That white dry brushing really helps kind of just orchestrate that. Now, most of it will be covered, but it helps, at least me, when I paint, just to kind of know where things are. It also knows that my paint is thin enough. So when you thin paint, you want a bit of, I'll do it again, you want a bit of pullback. That's kind of what thinning paint means, is a term a lot of people use. But essentially, you want the paint to pull back and just keep like a fraction of what goes on there. Now, how much of that fraction is really up to how thin you want your paints to be and what you're painting. You know, you don't really need to do 20 layers for a lot of Heroscape stuff. But if you're doing, you want to raise what you're doing, it's a great way. And it's the easiest way just to start getting contrast in your paints. There we go. We're just kind of layering this up a bit. We're just looking for little fun details and trying to tell some stories. That's what I love doing at NGC when I paint. I love just, NGC takes a lot of custom models from 3D printing, and we kind of start from the ground up in the design process, like colors and, design. Sometimes when we're struggling in a unit, when you get some paint on it, we're like, oh, we kind of get a feeling of its abilities or its tone or its place in a setting. So it's really, painting is all about just putting little tiny stories onto your character. That's why I like working with leather and cloth so much. It's a great way to tell stories. You can give battered cloth or worn leather, and it's a good gray. I actually just got Monuments just flat gray in the mail today, and I'm really liking it a lot more than Army Painter's gray. And I know you can always just mix gray. Gray is probably one of the easiest things to mix, but it's nice having just a nice consistent color to go to. And you kind of know the consistency and what to expect on. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Look at this. We're getting there. Now I am going to let this, well, let me get this right here. Okay, we're going to put him down. Let him dry his toes. And now let me get the old Ulfrid. This guy's picture is pretty clear, but let me see if I can find a better one. Real fast. Now this is definitely one I think we can make look a lot nicer. Got some nice blues and golds to layer up. This little guy right here. Let me see what that figure name actually is. It's Dwarf Warrior 234. Alright, let's find this guy. I actually found a painted version of this, which I might look at more just to have a point of reference. Alright, let's hide AShi-Dhulu for a second while he's rethinking his life decisions. And let's get this going. That's a really good paint job on this guy. I don't think I'll be doing non-metallic, as if that is, let me see here. No, just a nice consistent paint job. Okay, so he's got blues, he's got red browns, and skin tones. Okay, this would be a pretty fun one to paint. So first off, I am going to, what's the best place to start on this? I'm probably going to start with the blues and the browns in the center, work my way out. That's traditionally the best way to do it. We'll do the skin tones last. What color is the cape? That is a good question here. Let's see here. I think it might just be black. There's not a lot of angles of this guy. Ah, here we go. Sorry, I had something come up real fast. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's get this going. So first we're going to get a nice deep blue. I got Army Painter's deep blue right here. And put that on your wet palette. Do I use a wet palette? Because that paint might all dry. That's not good. Alright, so since we have a black base. We're just going to kind of make sure our paints are thin. Not too thin. And just start getting the colors blocked out. Alright. Keep the paints nice and thin right here. And since we prime black, certainly try to keep the crevices dark. I can save you a bit at the end, but if you fail over them, it's not the end of the world. My least favorite thing in the world to paint are shield straps. They're always just kind of in a weird angle. Kind of hard to fully get. Always try to paint your shield straps first, because nothing worse is when you're painting shield straps and you paint some blue into the beard like that. Let's see here. I think I might do blue and gold on the shield too. I'm gonna freestyle on this one. Because why not? I don't care if this is a 1-for-1. I'm just painting this to make it look close enough. Blue is one of my favorite colors to work with. I just love... I love the shades and the depth you can get with blue really easily. I used to hate reds, but reds are growing on me now too. And greens. Those are just, those are good colors. Okay, let's see here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to paint this whole shield blue so I don't miss anything. It's got a lot of tiny little details. I might not do all of these details on stream, because honestly that's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of time. But we'll see. We'll see how tired I get. Okay, any other blues I'm missing here? Looks like he has more of a cloth for the rest of him. There might be some space left to get some other colors blocked in, but I do want to take my time on this guy. He is being used for a commission piece, so I want to try to do a pretty good job on him. Again, I'm using Pro Acryl's Dark Silver. I think this is probably one of my favorite of their colors. I'm kind of a Pro Acryl stan at this point. Just got really nice and powerful pigments, which it's not for everyone. I see some people not liking it, and I can understand why. But let's see here. Art music just die out for some reason. Alright, I'll just start from the beginning. Problem solved. Can't paint in silence. I might hear my own inner thoughts, and no one wants that. Make sure we're in focus here. Yeah, just gently apply this dark silver to the areas you want it. Alright, let's see here. Always make sure you get underneath weapons. They're tricky that way. Let's see, do we have any other gold elements here? I think we're looking pretty good. He's got more gold than silver, I think. And honestly, I like working with silver a lot more than gold, but, you know, so be it. Oh no, I lost my... And for the beard, I am going to apply a nice dark brown using just flat brown from Vallejo. You know what? I might even go darker with dark umber. Let's go a shade darker here. So I'm going to use Pro Acryl Dark Umber and really just bring out the darks and the lights. Put that on my wet palette here. A little bit too thin down. All right. We're just going to apply a nice solid coat. And then while we're at it, we're going to take that flat brown we laid out, and we're going to map out where we want all the gold to go. Brown makes a great undercoat for golds and coppers and kind of any brownish metals. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten AShi-Dhulu. I've just gotten on various side quests. All right, we're just doing little details and making sure we have a nice solid coat. We're gonna have to go through and fix a little bit of mistakes, but that's the name of the game, right here. All right. We're gonna let this just all get settled down for a bit. Now we get to have some fun with AShi-Dhulu. All right. Okay, so we get the rocks. So we're gonna get our dry brush. Honestly, the best dry brushes out there are just makeup brushes you can get off like Amazon and Temu. They work great. All right. Now I'm just saying aloud here. I'm going to go. You know what would be a good way to contrast this? So option one, I can go just more to normal purple. Let's see here. But I kind of want to get a little bit of a gross tone. So I might go a bit more pink. I'm going to try this Grimoire purple. Just going to work in the purple range. I don't think. We'll keep that really light and subtle. And then we'll go more of a brighter pinkish for the bottom part. Actually, we'll go more blue. I think that would be really nice at the bottom. Did not shake my army painter up enough. That's something you learn about army painter is you just really you gotta shake it up, baby. Alright, we'll see how this works. That looks pretty good. Okay. And you're just running again, kind of like how we started at the beginning. Just kind of making this deep, dark purple a little bit less intense. Careful that doesn't get too thick on there like that, or it'll change the whole base coat entirely. We just want a little bit of contrast. So I use Grimoire Purple. Essentially, you want to kind of, if you don't have this color in hand, you just want to get like a purplish, reddish pink. And mix that and... So even notice how just doing something as simple as this really just adds a lot more personality to your worm. Really catches the eye. And I think we might do one more dry brush, just really light after we apply a shade to all this, to really make it pop. Okay, now for this one, let's just... I'll use like a wolf gray, but I have just a... There we go. Let's get that really buffed up there. Good thing about this is you can be a little bit messy because kind of, creatures just kind of blend together. It's not like be a little spotty with it, be a little messy. And for this, we'll probably add a nice, just wolf gray to finish it up. Now, let's get a nice light gray. I mean, I could just lower my gray too, but, I'm gonna actually do more of a white. And get a different brush, because this one probably still has purple left on. Gonna get spaceship exterior to really buff up these rocks, catch the eye there. It's almost a white, it's an off-white. Okay, we're gonna get this guy. So the only important thing to remember is when you're using a texture palette, make sure it doesn't mix with your other paints there. Oh yeah, this has a bit of red in it. Just drying off my brush real fast. Dry brushing rocks is one of nature's just little rewards. It's just looks so nice. It's so fun. So we're honestly going to worry about the teeth and the kind of the inside of the mouth here, some other details once we put a good coat of wash in this. So the model has black wash. Do I want to use black wash? That is a good question. Or would I want to go more purple? Let's go with the black wash. Just so it contrasts better. It looks like more like the actual model. Now you may be wondering why I haven't done the little glowy dots or the teeth. It's because honestly I don't want that fun layering we're going to do to get washed out by the wash. So I want those to be nice and bright. Really draw your eyes in. Let's use the last of my Nolan oil here. And you know what? When you use anything from Citadel, really get one of these paint holders because, gosh darn it, they really like to tip over. I typically recommend that you don't use your nice brushes for shades just because they do have a tendency to fill up the base of the brush, the Frenzel, and really just mess it up. But let's see here. I'm just looking through my brushes now for an old one that would fit the bill. I'll tell you, when I was learning how to paint, I was pretty brutalistic on brushes. I'm looking for one of the cat body ones, which I can't seem to find. Huh. Oh, here it is, right in front of my face. So something like this with a good body. So typically, I think it might be bad. Let me see if I can find some other black wash I have. Or I can make my own. I do have glaze medium, but huh. I'm just not in the mood to mix. I'm feeling especially lazy. There it is. And we're just going to really... The model has this on pretty dark, so we're just going to apply this on with a little bit of thinning and just kind of have it flow into all these cracks and crevices. Should we put it on the rocks as well? This is a nice, easy, simple character to paint, so... You know, watch for pulling at the bottom here. So a lot of that blending we did, as I said before, was going to kind of get darkened by this, unfortunately. I'm slowly moving away from using washes. You know, if I wanted to spend more than a couple hours on this guy, I would try to buff him up from black and move my way up. But I am, despite what I said, am trying to make it look as accurate to it as possible. So right now I'm just going through, looking to make sure it's all evenly covered. Make sure nothing's pulling up. We're going to kind of repeat these steps after these washes have been applied. We'll probably let's do it all again, but with a bit more intentionality. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. I probably am going to close up shop pretty here. It's getting pretty late on my end, but I want to keep on going until I cannot go anymore. Okay, so we let this guy dry. It helps if you paint and have a couple different figures to work on. Now we're going to work on like this cloth he has. I'm just pulling this up here. So it does seem to be slightly brown. So let me get that dark umber I was using and then mix that with some black and really make it dark. Nice black brown. And I'm just trying to find a nice pre-mixed black brown I have, but I'm not finding it on my side, so I'm just mixing my own. Okay, let's see here. So the paint kind of looks like that. Let's see. Just a couple shades. You just want to hit all these hair elements. The fur in the back. And I forgot the helmet. I switched to a smaller brush just because we're doing some detail work here. And we're also going to start getting some stuff on the horns as well. And looking for a good skeletal bone color here. Aha, we're going to use khaki from Pro Acryl. Actually, you might need... That should be good. I'm going to mix a tiny bit of brown in this khaki just to make it a bit darker. This is really thin. I'm just putting it on really thin. It's probably a little bit too thin. Honestly, I might need to thicken it up. There we go. Because you want a solid base coat. This is just me being downright sloppy at this point. I'll need to fix all those mistakes I did. I got impatient. Alright, and then we're going to use advanced flesh tone. And fill in the flesh. You really just want to make sure you get all the details. I'm going to start filling in the gold as well. I like gritty gold from Army Painters, just the color out of it. It's a really good base to go off of. Although I haven't really tried too many other golds from other brands, just because this is what I have in hand. Maybe once this just a tad bit. What? Oh, I'm sorry, I got distracted. All right, let's just get back to it. All right. So by keeping it thin and by having that brown undercoat, you really just just have the brown. The gold seems so much more vibrant. Just choosing a thin brush and taking her time. It's getting there. Make sure you get these little buttons. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not talking much. This is just a bit of focus here. Okay, well, let's get back to it. I was just. So now we're going to go with just a different layer of brown. We're going to really make sure it's thinned down to a point where it's almost a glaze. So just a really consistency like so. It's a little bit thick, so we're just going to. Okay, I think I missed a little bit of skin tone over here. And now I'm just picking out some little parts I missed. And fixing some minor mistakes as well. This helmet is probably going to be the hardest part out of all of them, just because it's got a bunch of little details. No one would shame me for painting the whole thing gold. I'm gonna have to clean that up a bit, but we're getting there. Clean this spot too where the white went onto the cloak. We're getting there. We're just going through and making sure all the layers are nice and solid. So we're looking pretty good with this guy. He's coming along. Now, if you're just painting this for your own game, you don't have to be as detailed as this. You could be a lot less. This is a commission, so I'm trying to do a really good job for this. Okay. So we're going to get a light silver. And we're going to put this on. Oh, hi, Shurig. I think you just snowed you. I was focused on the details. Nice looking Ulfrid you got there. Just up by to say hi. Well, thanks so much, Shurig, for saying hi. I know it is late. I was a little bit focused on the details and didn't think anyone would stop and chat. And some green guy, thanks so much for hopping in as well. This is this is a Reaper miniature that has been repurposed for a custom character in the game of Heroscape. So let me see if I can get this pulled up here. It's okay. I need a quick break anyway, so it's going to be upside down. I apologize for the confusion, but my cameras are a little wonky today. There we go. Yeah, so this is for a game, Heroscape. It is not an official piece, but it's a piece the custom community decided to co-opt into theirs. And he's a pretty fun unit. Let's see if I can find his stat card real fast. And let me capture this display device. There we go. And Heroscape is a old game that kind of went out of print like 12 years ago, 14 years ago. It uses a bunch of hex-based interlocking tiles like these. Oh, well, you can't see what I'm doing, but here, there we go. So this is the character units card that was kind of custom made for this. But essentially you have a bunch of tiles like this, and you stack them up, and you put pieces on it. So it's there's some better maps than what I have immediately on hand now, but it's essentially kind of a war game, but without the crunch is how it's commonly pitched. It's if you like modular terrain and kind of a very simple combat but very in-depth kind of way to play, then I definitely recommend checking it out. It's it's definitely one of my favorite games. As I mentioned, it kind of went out of print for a long time ago, but it's coming back, and they're kind of doing a revival of it through Renegade Games. So they got some new units, some new terrain. So if you do any war gaming or D&D, stuff like that, the terrain works great for that as well. But it's just a fun game. It's a game I like to play. I have tubs and tubs of the material for sure. And there's still a very active community despite it being gone for a decade and a half. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. This is currently what I'm painting is a Reaper miniature, an old Reaper model, that's being kind of transformed to the game. So I hope that answers your question, some green guy. Thanks so much for stopping by the way. I'm going to go back to what I was painting, but definitely feel free to chat because I like the company. I've been talking to myself for a long time. Time here. There we go. Okay, this is a better angle of the map here. So you connect the tiles, they can go like this. There's a bunch of old terrain pieces. You can put them on like this. I'm trying to see what pieces I have on hand. But essentially the gimmick of the game is that warriors from all across time and space have been summoned to fight each other. And so you have creatures as, like you get like your demon guys, but you also get like Knights Templar fighting each other. So it kind of hits that part of your brain. You're like, yeah, I want a samurai to fight a dinosaur type of deal. Okay, about, let's see here. So we're getting this guy going. I might add a bit of wash into the crevices just to really make it pop. I'm not going to do a full-on coat of wash though, just find the deep lines here. All right. Just really up this contrast. Just using slight dabs on the chainmail. I spent a long time making this really flat, so I'm really hesitant to do this, but I think it might help with some of the lines on the model. When you paint, contrast is king. You want as much difference between the darkness and the light as possible. That way your brain just thinks, oh, this looks nice, this looks delicious. Fire is kind of a primal part of your brain. All right, I'm gonna use a brown wash for the gold bits just to really make that stand out. Painting's all wet the dries, dry the wets, so on and so forth. And let's see here. Where is my brown wash? All right. Using Pro Acrylic Brown Wash right there, which I didn't like at first. I thought it was a little too thick, but I'm kind of learning how to use it to get used to it. So really... Oh, yeah, it is definitely region dependent. I know some areas are very, very have a high import or just hard to get really anything good in. There's a lot of imports in my country, and I still can't find anyone to play with. That's my lot in life. I have to drag my brother-in-law to play everything with me. Let's get a bit of flesh tone for the flesh. Go figure. But let's see here. Give my hands a break. Prevent my onset arthritis a bit longer. I've been in kind of moving mode, so all my stuff's all over the place. It's not as organized as I would like it. But I will find it. Aha, it was hiding. Got some Pro Flesh Wash. As I said before, I'm a bit of a fanboy of their product. I'm just love at first sight for sure. Always use my hands to make sure I got the excess water off. Now, if I was smart, I would have painted the eyes first before I did that. But, you know, it's late at night where I'm at, so sometimes my brain evades me. Some green guy says, so I've just brought some generic knights and stuff and painted those. Hey, you know, whatever you can get your hands on, you know, knights are pretty fun to paint. I have been meaning to make some tutorials on how to paint really good knights. But I'm glad that you're painting and doing some stuff. That's always even with whatever you got. You know, for a while I would just go to like the cheap like Walmart or dollar stores and just or steal my kids' little dinosaur toys and just paint those because that's all I had on hand. And then I bought a 3D printer and everything kind of changed after that. All right. I am liking this guy so far. Let's just bring up his horn just a bit. Oh, in Asia? Oh well, hello from America on my side, but that's yeah, I imagine you don't have those there. But yeah, whatever you get your hands on, I think that's the way to do it. Okay, we're going to do one more layer with a little bit of orange. Just gonna start bumping up the orange on his beard. We're gonna mix it in. I'm gonna show this here. We're gonna mix it in with the brown we've been using, and we're gonna use a bit of this glaze medium, which really helps thin and disperse the paint you're using. Make it a nice opacent covering here. So when you use glazes, you want a very thin layer like that. So I want this nice and smooth. You don't want it too smooth so it runs, but that's a bit too runny here. We can fix it though. So you just want to try to find the raised edges of the beard and follow that down. Trying to leave the shadows all shadowed. This is a really fun, red hair is really fun to build up. A lot more fun than blonde hair for sure. This guy just keeps on wanting to get out of focus. Alright, let's get my bright silver here. And we're just going to buff this up a bit. And just add a bit of highlights to his armor and feet. I like this guy because his hammer's a lot easier to pinpoint light than a sword is. It's nice and square. That's a little messy. Let's try to clean that up. In my opinion, which is better, fantasy or sci-fi? Is that for painting or just in general enjoyment? Painting, fantasy is a lot more fun to paint than sci-fi is. In terms of what I actually enjoy, like watching movie-wise or enjoying, I'd say I actually enjoy more sci-fi movies than fantasy movies, but kind of opposite for the other way around. My brain, my brain's all over the place. But I like them both. Sci-fi can get a bit too technical for me sometimes, but I like the lasers. I'm a big Star Wars guy, which is kind of more it's more fantasy in space, but I do a lot of like D&D and some of that, so I do like fantasy settings as well. That's a tough one. Now we're add some personality to this guy. Okay, let's get a little bit of a brighter blue going on. Oh, where is my Vallejo flat blue? One of my favorite colors to use. Just a nice solid color, nice solid coverage. I use it for a lot of things. And it really transitions well from the deep blue I based it with. All right. Do some edge highlights here. focus. All right. General looks and feels, which is better? General looks and feels. I would have to say, making me choose between my two darlings. Um, I think sci-fi all feels the same. Traditionally, it's hard to really feel unique in a sci-fi. So I would have to give a slight edge to fantasy if I was to commit to one. Here, you know what? Let's try to thin this down a bit. Let's not be lazy. It's my biggest struggle as an artist. I just want to be lazy. This one's going to be hard. The shield is the part I've been dreading. I hate doing shields. Alright, there we go. There always have weird angles, and the straps are just hard to finagle. You've been painting along with the stream? Oh, that warms my heart. I love when people paint. It's nice to know that someone else is out there painting. It's making me not want to give up. Call it a night. Let's see here. What color do I want to go to next? Well, let's just be crazy. Let's go to a crystal blue. Let's see how bright we can get this. And we'll use a sky blue instead. That's my biggest struggle as a painter is I'm always looking for things to just listen to or have on when I'm painting because you get bored fast if you don't do it right. Alright, so we're going to keep this relatively thin. And we're just going to do the outermost. Let's get a little bit thinner. It always makes me nervous because you go too much, you lose all the work you done. But if you do it right, man, it really does shine through. Let's make that a bit thinner. All right, let's just get these little details. Let's do some stippling on the handle. And ooh, elephants. Those seem pretty fun to paint. That's I've been wanting to get my hands on some more elephants for sure. You got to do a lot of dry brushing with an elephant, which I always love doing. All right, so we're gonna layer up the flesh a bit. All right, let's get this guy. Any tips on painting metal bits? So the biggest thing I think for metal is really just to start with a black undercoat. Do it black, and then metallic is paints are usually a little bit different than your standard paint, just because they kind of all react differently to water or thinning down. I don't know if you have it in hand, but metal medium definitely does help disperse it. But for the most part, you just kind of want to treat metal, for the most part, just it's kind of its own thing. So you have metal here. You don't want to thin it down too much because the silver particles inside of it get dispersed. You always want to start with a dark metal, use a black wash, and then just metal's a thing that works really good with dry brushing as well. It's just it's a good way to kind of cheat. Another thing that helps is just kind of looking at how metal really works. You know, take look at a picture of a sword or whatever is metal, and kind of see it's not a linear light. I'm personally still figuring out metal. It's a I'm just getting there. I'm trying to eventually get to know metallic metal, but I'm not entirely at that point yet. All right. So, actually, speaking of metal, let me do just a little bit of gold highlight. When you highlight metal, less is always more. Let me find a good bright gold here. So I got a good bright gold. Always mix metal really well because the flakes inside of it have a tendency to separate. So just a little bit of thinning. I press it out like this. You want just so I'm building up from cold metal. I'm just trying to add a little bit of sheen to it. But really just treat it like you would if you were layering any other color paints, you know? Just look for the edges, the raised areas. Just use a tiny bit. I always like to add a second, two coats of metal, one really as dark as possible, a wash, and then just a little bit of lighter afterwards, just to add some separation. Okay, we're looking pretty good so far. Let me get this orange going here. And last highlight. It's funny, this was just supposed to be a quick paint, but somehow I'm turning this into a pro paint. How dare I? Ooh, let's do a little bit of dry brushing on this cape. That'll be pretty fun. So let's find a good... It's a good brown to use. Something that won't take away beard work we've done. Do you want to use orange? Let's use like a bone color maybe. Just very slight, very subtle. That might be too... We'll try it out. Could be adventurous. There we go. That's not bad. Just to highlight the raised edges of this. All right. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by. Some great guy. It's been a pleasure chatting. Good luck in your painting journeys, and I'll definitely be live soon. So if you're ever free, feel free to stop by and enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, my night, wherever you are, whatever time it is there. Now we're gonna do the eyes. I'm gonna do a little bit of ivory on this horn here. I'm gonna make his little beard tie a different color just to make it stand out. Okay. All right, let's try to make this room glow a bit. Oh, that's bad. All right, time to do an eyeball. There we go. I don't know if I was capturing the screen, but I think he's about done. This was fun. This is the first time I really attempted to blend hair all the way through. And just okay, well, I'm happy. Let me do one more. And that's how you spend way too much time on an Ulfrid Horde Wrangler. Here's AShi-Dhulu, which is great in its way. I'm not going to finish it tonight. I'm pretty tired. But thanks to everyone who watched. Definitely be sure to subscribe. And if you're looking to get Heroscape on your own, definitely use my affiliate link, as it does help support the channel. Allow me to get some more paints to paint more guys like this. Alright, well, you all take care and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.